Welcome to 2 Cents on My Dime. I'm your host, Jim Longshore. This podcast, we're tackling the exercise of determining instantaneous demand in an ED area. The resources you'll need is the demand profile 1000 lines.xls and ED Demand.mpj. Our objective is to show how data is exchanged between Excel and Minitab to discover the impact. So let's get started. We're going to use this problem of ED demand data and the demand profile.xls spreadsheet to understand the behavior in the first 1,000 patients of June data. So what you see on here is, 1, I'm up here, and 2, selfless plug for our upcoming MBB program. It's an elective for both black belts and MBBs. We're going to be talking about Six Sigma process design, and I'll be the teacher. All right. So down here is our demand profile, 1,000 lines, and then I also have Minitab open, and this is going to be on ED Demand.mpj. Okay, so with that said, what we're going to do is, first thing first, we have our sheet here of 1,000 lines. I'm going to go to ED Demand, and I'm going to go to over here, and I need to take the first 1,000 data points. So I'm going down here to 1,000. You can't take more than 1,000 because that spreadsheet's limited to 1,000 data points. There's the 4,000 data line spreadsheet that can handle more data, but it also becomes a much bigger file. I think you're going to find these are huge files, the way it's crunching data. Okay, so I'm going to take the first 1,000. I hold Shift, go Control C. And I'm going to come over here to Excel, and I need to go to the top. I believe it's cell 17. There it is. So I'm going to click in that cell and Control V. Oh, I took the arrival date header. So that means in mine I'm going to do a Control Z. That undoes it, sorry. And I'm going to come over here and I'm going to take everything but the top one. So I'm going to go right to here. And now I'll do the Control C. And now it's just a simple Control V. So the Control C is copy, Control V is paste. Okay? Go back over to Minitab. I'm going to take arrival time. So I just hit the down arrow. That took me to the bottom of my data. And I'm going to take the first 1,000 of arrival time. So now that's copied. Control C. Move back over here. And Control V. Okay. It's coming along nice. Now I'm going to come over here and I'm going to take down 1, my down arrow, that gets me to the bottom, and I go up and I'm going to take my departure date and time. And just so you remember, all these rows relate to one patient, right? It's the time that patient arrived and the time that patient departed. So Control V, and then I'm going to come over here in the last one, down arrow, and then I hold the Shift to go to the top. Control Z, Control C, sorry about that, and over here, Control V. Okay, so now my data is entered. I have to change my start date. It looks like this is 6/1, so I'm going to come up here and I'm going to change this to 6/1 and hit enter. And now I'm starting to get some things over here. So what this does is this shows the stack up of all of the patients that were there at this particular time. And this shows individual patients when they arrived and left. Okay? I'm in 10-minute increments. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down here to Profile Summary. And what it's doing is it's stacking the data up for me. Hold the Shift, End, Enter. Will take you to the bottom. I'm sorry, Shift and down. Takes you to the bottom of all the data. We're going to do a Control C. And now I'm going to do a File, New Worksheet, and Control V. And so I'll paste it as a date. And the date, what did I do? Should have pasted all of it. Undo. I want all of it. Shift and down. Control C. Control V. There we go. And notice that what it did is it's recognizing date and time over here, month, day of the month, day of the week. It's noticing that as a date, time, and then demand. Okay. Now the interesting thing with this, well, I think it's interesting, is when we go to the bottom, our last time was June 2nd, 2008 at 1730. Remember that number. We want 1740 to be the next one, okay? So we come back over here, and now I'm back on Demand Profile tab, and we want to change this to June 2nd, and I believe this was 1740 is what we want it to be, right? I hit enter. Whoa, look what happened. My demand is now peaking. So I'm going to change this to maybe 3 patients per block. So that's showing you that my demand max was at 22 patients in the ED during these time periods. Okay? So if I come over here now to Profile Summary, it now is updated to show June 4th. Right? So now I don't want the header anymore, so I need to take that first row, Shift End down, highlights all of them, Control C, and then here I'm going to go Control V. And now I'm going to go to the bottom of that data. Okay. Go back over here. What was the last one? June 4th, 1010. So now I want June 4th at 1020. So I come over here. I go June 4th at 10:20. Okay. And same thing. Go to Profile Summary now. It's all highlighted, so I just need to go Control C. Go over here and Control V. So now in Minitab, you're seeing I have June 5th, June 6th, whoops. Alright. And I click on the last one there, June 6th, 250. That means I want June 6th at 3 a.m. So I go to Demand Profile. This is now June 6th. June 6th. 3 a.m., right? I need to change that to 3. Alright. And now I go to Profile Summary, Control C, take it over here, Control V, and I look, and it goes all the way down to June 7th of 2008, 1950. So June 7th at 20. But how far did our data go down originally? It went through June 10th, so we could probably do one more here. So June 7th at 20. So I'm going to change this to June 7. And I change this to 20. And I hit OK. And this should be the last time I'm going to copy data. I'm going to do Control C, Control V. So now I have all that data in there, and if I want to look at instantaneous demand, or I don't know, we want to do a dot plot, we can go graph, dot plot, and we'll just do simple of demand, and it shows something that looks like that. Now I don't trust these answers down here. I don't believe our and I'll show you why. If you look at how this works, the beginning one was June 7th. Whoops, it's June 1st at 1 a.m. Now, don't you think there was probably a patient that arrived June 1st at, say, 12:30 a.m.? Well, this is where we started our data. So I don't trust this beginning data because it's all about stacking up. And so how long is a visit in an ED? I'll just say 3 hours. So if my data started here, I probably want to go at least until maybe the end of June 1st. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to delete that data because I just don't trust it. So I'm going to get rid of June 1st. And I'm going to start my data on June 2nd. So again, hope that makes sense. Your data, when you went to collect it, it's all when a patient arrived and when a patient left, right? So when a patient arrived and when a patient left. So this is where I collected my data. Well, there's patients that arrived here that departed later that are in my numbers, but I didn't collect those, so I didn't track them. So that's why I need to get rid of that initial data. So I'm just going to do a delete rows on Minitab. And so now my data stops. So what I'd like to do is go graph, box plot with groups, click OK, and we're interested in demand, and I'm going to go by day of the week. Say OK. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. And so now what that is showing us is typical demand in the ED throughout the day. It looks like it's peaking on Sunday. Late Sunday is going above 10 before it comes back down. So for whatever reason, Sundays are seeing a lot more traffic in the ED. The one other thing we can do is if I do a Control E, I can say, well, let's look by time of day and see if that changes anything. And now I can look at what that demand is throughout the day, right? And you can start to see where that real demand is. And yeah, it's kind of tough to read here because it's grabbing everything. But you can see that this is midnight, and it goes down here. People are sleeping, not ready to come into the ED, and then we come back up. So that is how we look at this problem. So the question, when is the busiest time in the ED? I'm going to guess it to be somewhere over in here. And when I click on that, it looks like this is probably about 10 p.m. or 20 something. It's at night is when this is occurring, right? And then when might be the busiest time in the ED waiting room? Well, busiest time in the ED waiting room is going to be when all the arrivals are, and so people are sitting here, and this time it's stacking up, right? The busiest time in the waiting room is when I don't have enough doctors to handle this amount of volume. But we're going to save that for the subject of another exercise. So again, this is 2 cents on my dime. I just wanted to walk you through how to use this tool. Hopefully this is valuable. If you have questions, I can be reached at 317-681-4707. My email is jlongshore@sbtimail.com. Again, if you look at the bottom left here, we do have an upcoming course on Six Sigma process design that I'm teaching. Tell your friends, tell your family, let's load that class up because it's going to be a great one. If you're a black belt or a master black belt and you'd like to take this elective, reach out to the number there at the bottom, 512-353-7489. That's all for today. Thanks and have a great day.